It's brutally cold again here in Canada, so it's the perfect day for playing with your trains. This is a project I wanted to do for a while. This is an undecorated model, Atlas GP35, and I'm going to paint this for you. We're going to paint this CP rail. Now CP rail is a very easy paint job to do. It's basically all red. So I got my decals. I like to use a micro scale. The toughest part of this paint job is actually getting the decals, because you have to buy 4. You have to buy, well, this is the main decals with the numbers. You have to buy your stripes separately. You have to buy the multi-mark separately. And you have to buy the anti-glare panels for the nose of the locomotive separately. So you're looking at about $20 just for decals. So I'm going to disassemble my model and we'll get to work on painting that. So I'm going to put my drive system aside for now. I'm going to clean it while the paint dries. And when you disassemble your locomotive, keep track of all your stuff. I'm going to take the horn off. I'm going to put it in my box. It's very small, so I make sure you don't lose that. And then take out the handrails one at a time. This model came with no windows, so I'm going to use windows from another GP35 that I have. I always work very gently with these pins. They keep the body together, so I like to have them around. And once you have the back out, then the front is a little bit easier to remove. So take your time, it's not a race. And scale, you're going to be working with some very small parts, so you're going to have to develop patience. There you go. And now we're ready for painting. Now N scale's got a lot of fine details. In the best world I would do only one coat. Since it's my first one, I'm going to do one coat and see what it looks like. It's got a lot, N scale's got a lot of fine details, so if you can get away with one coat, it's better. If not, it's better to do 2 small coats than 1 thick coat, because you want to preserve the details as much as possible. So let's do the first coat and see. So when you paint, you want it to be like that, just mist at first, and then keep going till it's shiny again. So 1 coat, I'm very happy with the result. So I won't be touching this for a couple of days, at least 24 hours. And you'll see once the paint is dry, it looks completely different. But I'm very pleased with that so far. So now everything's back from the paint shop. Looks really good. And CP rail is one of the easiest paint jobs to do. If you want to do this paint scheme, all you have to do is put your decals and you're done. It's very simple, just like Penn Central or Pennsylvania or New York Central, just red with some white decals. Very simple and easy to do. But if you want to do something like that, which is the period I'm interested in, with the safety stripes, it's a little bit more complicated. In fact, you can see the back of the engine here gets black and white safety stripes. So you have to paint the back of the engine here. You have to paint it black before you can put your decals on there. So I'm just about to do that. If you mess up on the side, it's not so objectionable because the multi-mark is going to cover it. But you still want to make it as neat as possible. So let's get started. So I finished painting the black the back of my hood black. I did a pretty good job. I used my favorite paintbrush and some black paint. So now we're ready for some decals. I will also use micro salt to help the decals match the contour of the locomotive. Wow, it's really starting to shape up. I'm going to let this dry for a little while, and remember I always have my prototype picture close by to help in decal placement. So now I'm ready for my dull coat. So at this point my dull coat's dry and I'm ready to reassemble everything back together. So I wanted to do just a side-by-side comparison. My paint's a little bit darker, but otherwise they do look like they should run together. This is the factory painted unit. You can see the stripes stop at the number boards. They should go all the way up really. CP Rail painted the back, the stripes all the way up. Other than that, they look identical. And they can be run together.